Hi all, welcome to another Chess 24 Banter Blitz. I'm just going to make sure that's muted over there. If you let me know is audio okay, etc. That'd be cool. I'm just waiting for my preview screen, but I'll check out the first challenge. I think it will be Kaz today. Okay, my preview screen's there. Let's go. Kaz, hi there. Good morning. Okay, I'll play knight f6, I think. Maybe I'll try the Nimzo Indian in this game. e6, pin this knight, and maybe d5 actually. Can I take with the knight? So I think knight c6 would be interesting. e4, you know, there might be knight takes, I've just noticed, and then queen d4. Alright, this is interesting. CD. Right, this structure seems compromised. Can I just attack c3 there? Threatening, I think knight takes b4 or queen takes c3. Knight takes b4 might be better. And the queen moves knight d5. Again. So I'll be hitting c3 there. So queen b3, knight d5. And if c4, okay, so I attack c3 again. c4, maybe knight b6, attacking c4 again. Yeah, so, yeah. But this queen side is all congested. There's a light square bishop without. No, there is a counterpart, but this is pretty passive. This control of d8 is a nuisance. Now, if I ever play f6, I'm weakening light squares, of course. Okay, now queen e7, there's bishop d6. Can I play the... and there's bishop takes b8 and rook a7. This isn't that pleasant, really. Queen c5, bishop d6. Queen c6, there's knight e... this isn't pleasant. Maybe... This isn't pleasant. Queen d7. I can lose this a pawn. Yeah, there's a bit of pressure here. I can lose this a pawn, and well, that'll be fine. So I think bishop takes to win the a pawn. Queen takes, rook takes, rook takes. Should have played the King's Indian. Okay, so what happens here? Actually, if I get another move, knight a6 might be interesting. Just shield this little a pawn. Poor little a pawn. Okay. Okay, I'll do that now. And hang on. Rook d8 might be interesting coming up, or knight c5. If white castles, okay, rook d8. There's knight e5, but yeah, I didn't like my pieces particularly. I think Maybe knight c5 is better. There's tricks. Alright, let's go here. F6 and E5. Just to try and connect the rooks. Hello, hello. Connect these rooks. F6, E5, and move the bishop. There's also knight B3, it seems. Mind you, then there's queen C2. I really want to shut down that diagonal, actually. Do it immediately, because this, yeah, knight B3, queen C2, naughty. Hitting H7, B3, but I'm threatening knight B3 now, maybe. Play for E5, I think. If I can, yeah, I don't want to allow too much dark square play either. So E5. The knight controls D5 here. Knight B3 does seem as though it might be tempting soon, without too much of a backfire. There is bishop D6 here. I can pin that. Queen D8. Queen D8. Okay, I'll play Queen D8. Now knight B3 here seems a good idea. So there'll still be a pin on D1 here, even if the queen moves. The bishop's still pinned to D1 if the queen's not protecting the rook. But it is, I'll take this guy. I think I can pop out for dinner here. Take this guy. And take that one. Pop out for dinner again. Alright, thanks Kaz. Okay. Interesting. Now, a fearsome opponent. Johan, hi. I'll try the English opening. Maybe the Botvinnik system would be a good choice. I hope. It's a fairly standard plan, which has been played against me hundreds of times by various people. This idea of knight c2 to e3 to d5, and you combine that with a3 and b4. It's a very, very standard plan. Just get the nuances right there. Controlling that d5 square first, and then maybe there's time coming up for a3 b4, I hope. Okay. I think job done, you know, job done. The squares, if you look at the squares, the light square weaknesses, if I just play queen f3, I'll have a kind of thin shadow bishop on the light squares in terms of my queen. In fact, can I play b4 here? And I'll be exposing d3 though, if I took. Maybe, can I provoke f5? Pawns don't go backwards. I want to provoke f5 to stop e4 and provoke f5. Yeah, the problem with taking, it's not really a big deal. So maybe, okay, bishop d2, b5, maybe b5. Maybe I'm just worse here, actually, now. Yeah, I could be just worse here. Yes, just losing that pawn. This hasn't gone my way. This one? I'll try and do something with the king. I'll stop f5 for a moment. And yeah, it's a bit passive. Oh, okay. I'll stop f5 again. Take en passant. I hope. It's bishop b2 for bishop c3 for f4. I think this rook belongs over here. There's rook d2 there, f3. There's my king in trouble. There's rook h2. Right, so actually there's rook g1 here at least, isn't there? Oh, he takes them b7. Oh, I'm getting into a self pen. Actually, if I can get king d5 c6, that might be. Oh, that would have been something. I can get at least this for rook h7, then king d5. Maybe nuisance check. It's keeping a 1 minute clock advantage as well. This is this check here. Is that going to be handy? Maybe rook f7. Bishop e5 on bishop e7. Maybe. Rook h7, this is not good, is it? Rook h7, I'm just not doing anything here. Oh, the bishop goes. Okay, I think I've I've had it. Bishop goes. We could have just won bishop. Oh, there is. No, there isn't. It was bishop e5 for a moment. Is he giving up bishop? I have rook h7 to stop this pawn just about. I could have won the bishop earlier. Okay, so I'm still in the game to some extent. It's not totally gone, I hope. Rook g and then e4 and then rook g5. So e4 and rook g6 actually. Now check king. Don't know. Oh, that is a nuisance. Okay. F5, F6. Printing bishop d6. So f6 and then rook e8. Right, there's rook f6 here. Yeah, missed the chance for. I'm sure he missed the chance for e4, just putting me away around. Just here, e4 check is. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty standard plan, nevertheless. But I think that was. I think I did something wrong. I'll be interested in this position if I shouldn't allow d5. Just quickly have a look at this position. If I'm just worse here now. Black is much better. So you know this allowing d5. If I'm going to try and use this sort of, as I call it, standard plan, but it's queen e6. I have to play queen d5. Yeah, I think that's where I started going really downhill. Once I allowed d5, it's just going really downhill because losing that centre pawn. There's no rook d1 because queen takes and then taking on, you know, d1. So I think I had to play queen d5 here. Okay. Oh well. Thanks. On I'll try King's Engine. Try this. I've seen this sort of gambit before, well, in Blitz. I'm hoping I get something here at some point, like knight takes e4. Maybe it's dangerous, especially with white castling queenside. I hope there's something. Knight takes e4 is already a little bit probably dangerous. Check. Rook d8. Not rook d8. Alright, can I try and hit this guy? I'm also got knight f2 here. This is okay, isn't it? There's knight f2 coming up. Or knight e5. Now, how does he defend both pawns? I might be getting a pawn back with interest. I hope I'm getting a pawn back with interest. Yeah. As long as there's no bishop e3, is there any other tactic? I don't know. Knight d5, I'm going to take. There's no bishop e3 or anything. Right, that gives me that b file as well. Oh, okay. Attack b2. This check looks interesting. And let's go here. If rook e1, I think I just take that, and oh, there's no knight d1. There's knight d1. I thought I could just take that. Huh. Maybe queen f2. Then if knight e4, then take, and then rook d1. Okay, queen f2. So knight e4, I can just take, and then rook d1. So bishop f5 could be handy for c2. Yeah. So bishop f5 coming next. So knight e4, queen takes, rook d1. There is a check here, but I think bishop f5 is going to be handy. Although there might be knight g5 later. Okay, I'll play this anyway. After rook c1, so say check, king g8, rook c1. Right here, I think there's just queen takes, knight takes. Oh, there's check, there's knight c1. Alright, I can, what about rook d1, knight takes, queen takes, changing the move order a bit is often useful. That's still pretty handy because I'm on d1 and c2. So rook d1, just changing the move order of the forcing sequence, I think is an instructive point probably. You can see that this is not working now. Queen takes, rook d1, knight c1. But if we change the move order with that forcing move instead, knight takes d1, queen takes, we're on the knight and c2. So I'll go with this. Just checking these checks as well. There's a check there, but thankfully there isn't another one immediately. So on d1 and c2 here. Alright, so this, if I go here, I don't think there's too many checks. Alright, so I can just take on c2 and mate on b1, I think. That knight's protecting b2, so I think this is more precise. Alright, thanks to the game on okay, Fenneman. Okay, I'll try Sicilian defense. Bit of trivia, did you know chess positions are stored as fen strings. Phenomenon. So yeah, it's a bit of chess trivia that just popped into my head that I thought I'd share. Forsyth Edward notation. Forsyth Edwards notation, maybe. This is looking like game 2, isn't it, with d4 control. And like that, I guess, you know, if d4 is played this, I don't know, I could expose some weaknesses. I could try knight d4 here. The thing was, with this position, I can get that c5 square later. So I think that might be a good thing to do, to get this c5 square for the knight. So I can lock up things, and it looks like a sort of reverse Benoni structure, if you can imagine. A knight on c5. One question is, do I allow b4? Do I play this? The thing with this, trade-off wise, is I can still play for b5 if that's useful, but it's pretty solid, that structure. b4 might be a useful kicking move. It might be best just to... there's another aspect of this, bishop h6 as well. I think I'll try bishop h6 first, because it would be nice to have a bishop on e3. But this decision between knight c5 and a5 is interesting. It's both got like... I'm not sure, you know, after b4 it's really that significant. If the bishops get exchanged off, this is a nicely entrenched knight. So I could welcome this kind of simplification. Bishop takes with the idea of knight c5, a strongly perched knight without any b4. So I'm kind of, it's a trade-off for king safety there as well. Now this one is, if he took, then that's a backward pawn I can put a bit of pressure on. So if he took, I'll take like this, and fixing b3 down, I could probably pile up on b3 later. There's another aspect to this I just noticed with the king there. He's just prompted looking at how to put pressure on the diagonal. So this little move, or I could play it in a hyper-modern way, putting a queen here and then for f5. This might be a bit... Okay, you know what? I'm wondering about the bishop exchanges now. Because if I go for this queen a8 f5 plan, I'm sort of opening up my king a bit more. If I play bishop g7, he could play f5 and I never get in f5. If I want to play f5, maybe around about here, because I think it will increase the mobility of the pawns. And queen a8 will be more effective on the diagonal. So I think f5, two aspects, king safety and pawn mobility. So I think f5 might be justified, even though, yeah, my king's getting a bit... Mind you, the rook can swing over. But what I'm looking forward to here... okay, the rook can probably shield the king. So you can imagine d takes, rook g7, queen a8, putting pressure on e4 here. The knight's already putting pressure on e4 and d3. So just exerting more influence down the centre, across that diagonal. So you can imagine this setup with rook g7, queen a8. It looks strong. Maybe even double for f takes and rook f2. So rook f7, queen a8 is optimal, I think. Near optimal. Rook f7, queen a8, f takes. Yeah, rook f7, queen a8. Mind you, yeah, I'll see if he wants to take... I think these are all pretty good moves, all these moves. Queen a8, f takes. Knight g5, there's f takes. Knight f7, there's takes, winning the queen. So, yeah, this is looking like all my pieces are ready for action here. So d3 looks like an interruption tactic. Queen c3, knight e4, queen e5, say... Well, knight g5 would win the knight on h3, so this looks pretty strong for knight e4, knight g5 check. So queen c3, knight takes e4, queen takes e5, knight g5 check. Yeah, this is looking just vulnerable, this diagonal. Let's check this again. Queen c3, knight takes. If queen takes, then knight g5 check. I'm just taking on h3 after. Or knight f2 check maybe as well. Knight f2. Right, these pawns are rolling with check and e4. I think that's simple and strong just to get the pawns rolling. Okay, there's rook e1. Probably I could blunt the knight. It takes actually. All right, rook e1. Let's say rook e1. Maybe there's rook f3 there. Knight g5. All right, I think the pawns are just simply rolling. I just need to just unblockade the pawns. So rook b1, e2. Alright, thanks for the game, Fenman. Okay, Kasparov student. Okay, let's try English opening again. Let's try and not pre-move too much. Hang on. Let's try and get out of this pre-move habit. It's not a bullet game, right? Okay. So there's a well-documented correspondence game in postal chess where you have sort of pre-moves because people could send to save time. They say if you anything and then this, right? So someone received that in an envelope. It's like one of the shortest correspondence games. It's anything, I'll play g6. So the game went like e4, sorry, anything, and then I'll play bishop g7. So the guy played bishop h6 and took his bishop. Anyway, so you had pre-move disasters back in postal correspondence chess because you had these for people to save time. They put these conditions on moves, and but anyway, like pre-moves, you can have disasters because sometimes the opponent doesn't play what you anticipate. I think there's a name for winning the bishop. You expect them to sort of play bishop g7. You play this horrible bishop h6. Even Magnus Carlsen fell for that recently in some sort of bullet game recently. But I think that's naughty, very, very naughty. I don't like when I'm on the receiving end of that. Okay, so there's pressure on d5. These pieces seem a bit loose. The blockade point seems nice, knight b5. Actually threatening knight c7. So I think knight b5 has got a few things going for it. I mean, it seems pretty... I mean, it does seem pretty logical. I'm just wondering, bishop b7, okay, there's knight c7. Also, you know, a3, b4, just to move the bishop to get c6. a3, b4. Sometimes moving this rook when there's a bishop there, it seems the soft spot is a bit vulnerable. When you're playing against nice like queen's pawn, it gives these hooks on c4 and e4, which also in turn means the soft spots are sometimes more vulnerable. Okay, so a3 just with the idea of b4 seems interesting. If a6, maybe knight d4. Mind you, takes that you could try and win a pawn. Maybe e3. I'm sort of hemming in the bishop. The bishop could be trapped later with g5. But yeah, the problem with a3, maybe a6, if then knight d4 takes, rook e2. So if I want to fix this pawn, but yeah, the downside is this bishop. Play it. Oh, I see. Okay, queen a4 here. That's an interesting decision. This bishop could be useful later without the counterpart. Now this a3 for b4, again, it seems with a vengeance, with extra pressure now on c6. So b4 coming up. Okay, so is b4, I mean, there's forcing moves like knight d6, particularly. Bishop takes rook c6. Isn't b4 just winning a piece, potentially? Nearly. I mean, maybe there's a6. Testing it anyway. So knight d6, bishop takes, rook takes c6. Queen d7, there's rook takes c8, check. a6 could distract away from c6. I suppose. Yeah, I'll take this. There's a sort of pin here now. So bishop d6, maybe b5. There's a sort of pin. If rook a7, yeah, rook a7 sort of traps the queen nearly. Queen takes b6. No. Okay, so let's have a look at this again. Bishop d6, b5, rook a7. I don't think b5 is palatable, actually, necessarily, in that situation. Alright, can I not just take the bishop here? I'll take the bishop. I can put pressure on the center. So knight e5, bishop takes e4, for example. Now knight e5 and then bishop takes e4. Okay, g5 I'm not so worried about now because of bishop e4. There's also queen h6, but bishop e4 to start things off. This g file could be handy if I ever move my king. Oh, right, the queen. Now queen h6 and queen g5. King f8. Queen h6 takes check. King f8. I think it doesn't really matter, actually. I'll just use this g file, king h1 and rook g1. Alright, thanks to the game, small student. Killer cat. I can't. Goggin Paul, by the way, I can't accept that because I don't think you're a premium member. Killer Cat. So Nydorf. It's a bit of fun, really. This position. Here it looks as though I can get away with b5, bishop b7, which is a comfortable sort of. Oh, there's a knight hanging. Weakness of the last move. I don't think it's a trap. It doesn't seem like a trap. Thanks, Killer Cat. Seems to run empty on challenges. If you want to challenge me. Whoops. I've been challenged out. Run out of challenges. Does anyone... okay. All challenges... Does anyone want a rematch? Just let me know. Challenges, rematch, anything. Alright, got a challenge. Thanks. Okay. That game was too quick. Okay. Trying to sin again. Okay, so this looks like, why have I allowed knight b5? Should have played a6. Oh, nuts. This is going to be a disaster, isn't it? I've just allowed knight b5. Unless queen c6. If queen b3, then I mean queen b6 is bishop e3. Oh, I've got him thinking maybe about knight b5. Uses time on the clock. Okay, I'm hoping queen c6. Can I kick this? Yeah. Scary. It's scary. Maybe I can try to go around to c4 here. Knight c6 to e5 to c4. g6. What's the idea of that? Oh, is it knight e6? All right, okay. So g6 then, yeah. If I go for that c4 square, so something like rook b8 maybe, or knight c4, rook b8, b5 seems a bit dodgy potentially, or is it okay? h5 might be an interesting, trying to seal the king side move, but he wins a pawn. b5 let's have a look at f4, knight c4, e5 hits the rook, rook b8. That should be okay, shouldn't it? Maybe. Alright, fg. On me. Oh. Okay, I'll go with the other knight, I think, to protect e6. hg, fg, protecting e6, but there is also knight b5 and stuff. This knight might be vulnerable. So I find this position a bit scary, to say the least. Yeah, there's some vulnerabilities here. Maybe king f7. And then knight c4 for e5. No, he's always got queen f3. So I could wait for f4, then knight c4. I could play the other knight here, but then f4. Where does this knight go? Okay, I'll go there. So I assume I might be threatening knight takes b2 here. Maybe e5 is a good idea. Or g takes to try and... Oh no, that's a very bad idea. Okay. E5. And possibly e5. F takes, I think king g7. Well, that's, yeah, starting to the even more scary. Queen h5 there. hg, bishop e6 if he wants to. Takes and I'm protecting that rook. Maybe this is plausible. Queen check, king g7. Alright, okay. I'll do this. Threatening rook f7, right. It's getting short on time here, and there's no immediate sign of me being mated, so that's good news. I can even take her and get the queens off potentially, which in the circumstances just don't want to be mated that quickly. Also bishop g5 later. Alright, these two connected passed pawns are a concern. I can keep them blockaded. I don't have to take that, which would allow d6. I can keep them blockaded. So maybe rook f4. Blockade. Try and undermine here. Nuisance rook. E7, maybe king f7. Can I blockade with my king? Alright. If I blockade with my king for a moment. Yeah, I think the attack didn't seem to open the position too much. Okay, fence the game. Right. Rematch, Fenneman. So, if he's ready, right, so A6 and B5. Alright, I'll just play for bishop B7 now. And so queen C7 and knight E5. If I have this structure, then I've got that D file to play with, at the cost of double pawns, of course, but I think that's interesting, that structure there. Knight takes. This can pile up on D file. Worth playing it anyway. Yeah. Wondering about B5. Is that a problem to play B5? Probably. I'll do this instead for a moment. I guess D4's on the way. If D4's on the way, I think I'm going to be taking on F3, CD, and playing for Queen A8, or even around here. I'll just take on F3 and Queen A8. Which to me looks quite suave sometimes, this bishop and the queen here, hypermodern stuff. Is it really doing anything now? There's knight C4 for B6, potentially. Knight C4 if he wants. Any D5, is that handy or not? E5, I've got sort of bad French defense with like has a free hand to attack on the king side after E5. So it might be worth trying to undermine E4 with B5 and C4. Trying to undermine this diagonal, play for C4. C4, yeah. Okay, I'm hitting the bishop in the meantime. Rook A1. Alright, C4 here. Just to try and get access to that diagonal. Knight takes G3 looks dangerous. If takes, then takes, and then D5 and bishop C5 looks dangerous. Dark square play. Alright, so we're going to have this position. It does protect his G2, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm hemming in the bishop though. Alternatively, that knight's protecting G2 as well. Alright, I'll go with that, what I mentioned. Bishop C5 with, I'm hoping, some good play. I'll try and liberate this bishop later with D4. So bishop C5, D4, try and get this complementary attacking bishops. So D4 looks as though it could be dangerous for white here. If I get access to D2, then I get more pressure on G2. Let's see, or maybe Queen D8. Oh, Queen's hanging. Alright, thanks, Fenneman. Thanks. Okay, killer cat. Goggin Pool's just renewed. Oh, fantastic! Thanks, Goggin Pool. Thanks. Yeah, that's great. Helps fund all the streamers, etc. Great site, great tournament coverage. Well worth it. Supporting this fantastic site. And all right, if you want to renew for the first time, remember the voucher code. You get 15% off Kingscrusher, which I forgot to mention, by the way. And start. So E5 here, and then that soft spot is emphasized. So Queen H5 is dangerous. If I invoke dark square weaknesses here, I think that would be favourable in this situation. I can sometimes swing a rook to H3, with rook F3 to H3. So Queen H5 coming up. Temperatures in the UK at the moment pretty cold. I think it's going to get warmer towards the end of the week, but at the moment I'm hesitant to put heater on because it makes too much noise. By the way, I'm just freezing at the moment. Okay. You've got to deal with trade-offs all the time, not just in chess, but yeah, the heater makes noise, so overall, keep it off. Let's see. G4 for G takes, King H1, Rook G1. This is nice to wrench open the G file. This surely, okay, I'm losing a pawn. It's a nuisance to lose a pawn like that. Mind you, the queen is a bit stranded over there at the moment. As long as the queen's not winning loads of material. G takes and then bishop takes F5 is looking good. It looks as though this is a sort of what I call like free hand position, where if there isn't too much counterplay, you sort of get a free hand for an attack to build up an attack. And at the moment, okay, there's knight D3 to win this bishop. I could play bishop takes, and takes queen c2, FG, there's queen g6. No, there isn't. That's dangerous. H6, g7. This is all pretty dangerous. Probably takes, that's all pretty dangerous. Bishop f5 looks pretty dangerous. I'm tempted to try it. Fun. I'll be losing my queen there. No. Maybe not. Maybe there's a saner way of doing this then. Knight d1, kick this queen out. Let's have a look at this. G takes again, knight takes. For example, there's FG or there's rook d3. Let's have a look at G takes, knight d3. As long as there's no knight f2, FG there is dangerous. Is it not? H6, G7. Okay, I'm going to try this then. And then this. Because this Z2, so this, try to get a nasty pin. As I mentioned last week, pins have both short-term and long-term downsides. Now the short-term downside might be rook g7, and then f5, queen h6. Any check? Well, there's no check on. There's a check on a1. There's rook f1 maybe, and there's knight f2. So maybe king g2. So rook g7, f5, queen a1, king g2. Because then I would have queen h6, and queen f6, and then bishop h6, and or rook g3. So I think rook g7 looks logical to break the defense down. As long as this queen a1 is not fatal, you can imagine rook f1, knight f2 is nasty. So I'll go with this. So queen a1, rook f1, there's knight f2 check, but king g2 I thought was okay here. So I've just liberated that bishop, trying to get rid of the got to try and consider pawn structure when you're attacking as the fundamental constraint on the pieces. So f5 is a liberating move for this bishop. That's why these moves should be, like, I believe, for the attacking player, they should be popping in one's head. Actually, you know what? It's almost as if is this winning or not? Hang on. Check. So I win the queen. Hang on. Check. 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 And then win the queen. I'm sort of winning. The queen's a tactical target here. If nothing else, even if I can't mate, I think that queen is a tactical target roundabout here with rook g7, queen takes e1. Actually, I'm not really... Okay. No, with the disconnection, I think I've got something here. Because I can play queen g4, I believe. There's a disconnection of pieces. So, but here, check. And then if king d7, check, wins the queen. So sort of going to a self-pin to sort of win the pinner in a way. That's kind of winning the pinner. Check. King d7, rook g7. It's naughty. And I'm sort of going into a self-pin to win the pinner. King d7, rook g7 check. Queen takes e1. If king here, then there's queen f6. Alright, thanks, Killer Cat. Okay, Goggin Paul was recently upgraded in this session, thanks. Right. So, Goggin Paul. So, King's Engine. This is against the fianchetto variation. Then this is a very, very solid variation. The fianchetto variation. And it's classy opening play by my opponent. Very, very classy. I think Mikhail Botvinnik would be proud of all the moves so far. I think Botvinnik was a fan of the fianchetto variation. Now this looks a little bit suspect to me because it gives me this nice entrenched knight without any b4 possibility to kick it later. I want that dark square bishop, I think, rather than leave the pin. Now on queen d2, I think there's either knight b3 or knight g4. Knight b3 looks to be winning the exchange, but knight g4 is also, if I get this pawn structure, then this is a fixed target on the semi-open file. Probably not that significant because white can play knight b5 at any time there. But it's the absence of the dark square bishop which should cause logically a celebration on dark squares here with this bishop. If I can open up this bishop to celebrate no counterpart, basically f5, e4, for example. I think this is mostly pointless, yeah, because of this blockade there. But I'll take that off. f5 and e4 it is, I think. Try and open up this bishop, which hasn't got a counterpart. So I think that's an interesting position. It shuts down this bishop for a moment as well. So let's imagine we have rook b8. There's always knight b5. Oh, that seems a bit optimistic. A little bit optimistic. It looks as though my king's defended enough, but we'll see. Yeah, that was a pre-move. I think for captures, pre-moves are pretty safe. Okay, I can either just take... I think I can just take that pawn, actually. And defend that. I think I want to double here, just double the rooks. So I'm on e2 here. Okay, I'm going to take that. Thanks for the game, Goggin Paul. And bring on some more challenges. I think because of yesterday's bonanza, I think there's a lack of challenges today, which hasn't happened like for years. So feel free to do a rematch or whatever. Okay. King h1 f4. Okay, I might stop bishop e6 with this move. So f4 and then something. Bishop d2, rook a e1. Okay, it's queen f2. So rook a e1, and then maybe e5 coming up. Like queen g3 here, keeps an eye on against the queen h4 as well, and also sort of attacking as well, of course. I think e5 looks liberating for the pieces here. So e5 coming up. So it looks as though, yeah, the pieces are really activated. Queen f3 is good here. There's a queen f7. Picking up the bishop. So even if there's knight g3, I'm picking up that bishop. So I'll go with queen f3. Hitting h5 and f7. So queen h4, queen f7, queen takes d7, knight g3, king g1. Oh, hang on. There's a bishop c5 check there. Okay, I'm not sure that mattered too much, but I'll take this now. e6 looks very tempting here. Sometimes bishop c5 is very dangerous in conjunction with knight g3. I think here I might be able to get away with e6. So knight e4, bishop c3 looks pretty good. Knight e4 and bishop c3. I could take on f8 here, and then take on d7. My back row, I'm not getting back row mated. So let's have a look at this again. Queen takes, takes, e takes, rook takes, bishop takes. That seems plausible. On the other hand, I like having the queens on, so I'll give back the pawn. I want to play knight e4, bishop c3, I think. Keeping the queens on is often more entertaining and dangerous. So bishop c3 check here is very dangerous looking. Okay, it's at the cost of a pawn, but okay, bishop c3 is dangerous. Bishop g7. There's knight g5 for knight f7, trying to win the exchange. If queen f6, sorry, if rook f6, there's still knight f7 check. Okay, thanks for the game, Penman. Alright, off. King's engine. So we have this line against the fianchetto variation. Sometimes this is annoying with b3 and bishop e3. Sometimes this is maybe b3. Which I have played as white sometimes. This is there's a standard plan. When I say standard, I usually get a disastrous position later, but I think this is a standard plan. Now that white's committed to this, to sort of try and reroute the knight into d4. So with the idea of getting an extra step for the bishop, getting a protected pawn in the centre. Okay, it can be blockaded. I'm hitting that bishop there. The difference in structure here is that black can control d5, but the corresponding square is in the sort of Achilles heel, because both these pawns are not able to kick anything from d4. It doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't want double pawns there, because then there's queen b6. If the bishop moves, there's now knight d4. So it's kind of increasing the scope of the bishop, giving white an overhead to try and blockade this pawn as well. Now, if he took, I'm also putting some pressure on the e-file. So I think this is a favourable transition, structural transition, to do this. There might even be the possibility of committing to c5 here, because I don't think it's... Oh, it is actually knight f4 to d5. Yeah, if I played c5, there's knight f4 to d5. maybe I... So that needs some consideration here. Queen b6, that's c5, knight f4, bishop e6, knight d5, bishop d5, cd. Yeah. Not sure. Not so easy. So c5 is a committal decision. It will allow knight f4 to d5. Possibly. Okay, rook d8. There's also bishop f4. Oh, let's go for it. I think there's trade-offs here. He's used that square. I thought the knight was coming into d5. Okay, so maybe knight e5 and bishop g4 coming up now. d3 is immediately threatened to try and win the exchange. I think that's a good exchange. d3 to win. If he has to take... okay, blockade is a bit defensive. f6, interesting. a4 is probably to be considered here. I'm wondering if yeah, a4. Okay, I'll take it here. Then there's again knight f4. Okay, a4 here, trying to chip away at this structure. Oh, bishop h6 to e3 might be handy. Do it here. Is he going into d5? Torture via d5. Nope. Well, I think this helps me a little bit intuitively, because there's still bishop e3, there's queen e5, the rook is coming to a2 potentially. Well, bishop e3 wins the queen here. Thanks for the game off. Peter, I can't, unless you want to upgrade Peter 1960. I don't know if you've got money to upgrade. Sorry. Okay, I have to decline you at the moment. But someone else did upgrade this session, that's why I'm mentioning it. Okay, Elstree. Sorry, question here, friends are like, what should I do when I don't really know what to move next? I have no idea what plan to do. Well, there's a standard answer to that. Well, I think someone, Karpov, I think, said about improving the worst piece. You identify your worst piece and you simply try and improve it. But there's other situations where, to clarify a plan, you really need a target, and sometimes just maneuvering until the opponent creates a weakness is another sort of reserve plan. These kind of reserve plans. So one is improving the worst piece that you've got. Another is just trying to provoke some weaknesses, which can form the basis of a good target. You know, a plan has a target sometimes. So, yeah. Didn't Alekine say that like strategy is like knowing what to do when there's nothing to do, and tactics is like doing something when you know what to do, something like that. Okay, I've misquoted that totally, but there was another one that is planning is like a bird's eye view, and tactics is like a penetrating glance. So if there's nothing from the bird's eye view to do in terms of pawn structure, yeah, you'll sometimes, if it's in terms of pawn structure, if you buy into that, then provoking weaknesses is like trying to commit the opponent's pawns, and then you get a target. Sometimes you get a target from just provoking weaknesses. Alright, so let's see, D takes, and then I can fix these pawns, I think. Okay, knight b5 looks interesting. Knight b5 looks like a nice idea. Nice cozy place for the knight on that b5 square. Okay, so maybe double than knight b5 coming up. What was the most recent chess bet I read? I haven't really got that much time recently to read anything. It'd be good to have that luxury. I haven't been reading that much recently. Okay, so queen c3 hits a5. Knight d6 doesn't seem to do anything. Let's see how he reacts to this. Is it something like queen a8 or something? That is a target here, that a5 pawn. I'm just looking at my bookshelf. I think one of the most recent books I got was on the Smith-Morrow Gambit. My Esmond. I haven't really read that, and I got these volume books by Avrook, which I never read, but they were raved about. If you want a fianchetto repertoire with white, then the Avrook series, if you really want to beef up Grandmaster repertoire. But also, yeah, okay. Let's see, queen c3, queen d6. Let's get the queens off. It's one thing for me having books, it's another reading them. It's a really a big thing to be able to read them, otherwise they're just on the bookshelf, passive. I want to keep the D file. I'm thinking b4, knight takes, c5, just to try and keep b file, d file. And this isn't so clever, is it? Knight d4, there's e5. Does that achieve anything? Knight f5, knight b3. But maybe I should do this just to provoke e5. This knight on f5 might be dangerous. In fact, there is some advantage, I think, in doing this, because knight b3, rook b6. There's knight c5 altar. Okay, I'm losing a pawn back. So e5, knight f5. I'm losing my pawn back. Knight takes b3. But I like to have control of that d file instinctively. Okay, b4 here then. I thought e5 was the move. Was an interesting move. This one, e5 here, b takes, and if takes, rook takes d7. I think this is a mistake. At first sight, I think it might be a mistake. Friends are like, my weaknesses I still don't know. More opening. I surely don't know how to play the position. I didn't study. Okay, thanks. The Cranton student, sorry. Oh, okay, there might be time for one more game. Okay. Let's see. XT Ibis. XT Ibis. Is he around? Is XT Ibis around? Okay, I'll bought this. And Amando. Hi. I think this is a fairly safe thing to do. Just to get in this position where you fianchetto and you put some pressure on the dark squares in the centre. It seems fairly logical to me. And when I played the Smith more against an IM and over the board match, he played d3. And I had a good position later, and it was a draw. It wasn't FIDE time control. It was just a club match. That was some time back. Alright, d5 has that got something going for it? Knight g4. No, bishop f4, maybe f6. I'm just having a look at this f6. F6, is that doing anything? H3, there's knight takes e5. If he took that, bishop f4, yeah. Am I weakening my king too much? I might be. E takes. What do I do? Bishop takes? That would prepare e5. H3, e5. Hg, ef. It's possible. Maybe. E takes, bishop takes. To reserve e5 in mind. If I took like this, I'm shutting down my pieces, really. Yeah, I'm thinking E, F, bishop F6, H3, E5, knight C6 takes. Alright. E5. The pieces are all controlling E5 here. You can see. So takes. Double pawns, target on G4. Let's say G5, bishop G7. Got a grip on F5 in that line. If takes, queen e2 is G5. I'm weakening light squares there. So I can take that. Okay. I think I'm going to have to go and put the heater on, which is a lot of noise, but I'm going to freeze to death otherwise. But I hope you've enjoyed this session, and have a good rest of Sunday, and have a great week. I hope there's some useful tips in this, which you might, if you're playing over the board, whatever, good luck. Okay, thanks so much. Thanks all. See you next week. Cheers then.